Good morning. Welcome to Morning Brew with Yes, it's your girl Germaine, and we are here this Monday morning. Yes, I am battling a cold, and so today I am drinking my hot water, lemon, and ginger. Yes, my tea that I made this morning, trying to break up and clear up and get rid of this cold. But listen, we are back. We're back in town last week. Thank you so much for those that stopped by. But today I have our resident with us in studio for our Black Sin segment. So I'll be bringing Teresa Merritt Watson up shortly. But let me get into today's message. So if you are chiming in, thank you so much for chiming in. Let me know where you're chiming in from. Let me know what you are drinking today, possibly. Okay. All right. So, good morning, Leslie. Thank you so much for always stopping by, putting a smile on your sister girl's face. Listen. All right, so today, guys, we're talking about functioning but not healing. That's today's topic, today's morning brew that we're going to be talking about. So, a lot of people have mastered the art of looking okay. They go to work, they take care of responsibility, they answer calls, they post online, they smile in public, but internally, they are exhausted, overwhelmed, emotionally disconnected, and silently carrying wounds they never gave themselves permission to heal from. So, functioning can sometimes become a disguise for pain. Let me tell you, if any of this is hitting you right now, I hope something that is said in today's morning brew will resonate with you to set you free from feeling like you're just functioning, but you're not healing. Okay. So, I want to say, like I said, functioning can sometimes become a disguise for pain. We keep ourselves busy, busy, busy because we don't want to deal with the pain of really what's going on internally with us, right? And so the danger of that is this. When you stay so busy long enough, you can convince yourself that because you're surviving, you must be okay. Listen, but survival and healing are not the same thing. Keep that in mind. And I'm going to tell you, after dealing with an experience over this past weekend, some things could be so suppressed so deeply. One little thing can trigger and set someone off to really allow all that stuff that has been compounded and just pushed down and pushed down come to the top. It's almost like if you're boiling hot water and it's time for you to be notified this water is hot, it starts right, and it makes this noise, like this piercing noise that take me off the fire because I'm ready to burst. And that's what can happen. And so you don't want to do that to yourself because some things could come out that can cause more harm to you than good when you allow yourself to explode because you've been suppressing yourself for so long. So, with that being said, let's get into this a little more, okay? So, we are going to let's pour a little bit into purpose before we bring up our blacks in segment. All right. So let's pour a little bit into purpose. Hello, Miss Teresa. Listen, I just popped you in the segment to let people know you are here with us today. I'm going to go into our pour into purpose segment and then we're going to bring you right back in studio. Okay. Hold on one sec. We'll be right back with you. All right, so let's pour a little bit into purpose. Being busy does not mean you're whole just because you're busy. And you know what, today, and I had to really think about this because people will now address me saying, Jermaine, I know you're so busy. And one day it just hit me and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Not the person saying it rubbed me the wrong way. It rubbed me the wrong way that that's the message that I'm putting out there before people that I'm so busy. And it doesn't take away that I might be a little busy, but I don't want that to be what people are knowing me for, and that I don't have time because I can make time. right? And sometimes I'm realizing it's just about structuring and putting boundaries in place to free up yourself, because I don't want my whole life to be equated to, man, she was so busy. I don't want that. Definitely don't want that. And I want to be able to address things in my life that may need healing. So I don't want to compound them with just being busy, working, 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 and disconnecting from life itself, from people, relationships. I don't want that to be my story. So I am paying close attention to when I need to address some things from a healing standpoint, making sure I take the proper measures to get those things, to work on those things, right? So I can be whole. And so, but let me pour a little bit more into purpose, because it may shine some light on some things as well. Okay. So being busy does not mean you're whole. Productivity can hide pain. Being busy will hide if you're really going through something, right? Constant movement can distract from emotional wounds. Always moving, always busy. Sometimes it's like sit still, be still, be still. A lot of people can't do that though. And I know I can tell you about it. Um, it's one of the hardest things to do, sitting with yourself, just sitting still with yourself in your own thoughts, trying to gain clarity for your next move, what needs to happen next. But it's so necessary. Okay. And some people stay occupied because silent forces them to feel. Whew. Being still will force you to feel the pain of what you're dealing with. And it's okay. Give yourself grace to sit in it so you can get through it, and not just push it to the back and it's still there, just mounting and mounting and mounting, and then all of a sudden you burst, and I would hate to be on the receiving end, because it doesn't feel good when you're on the receiving end of somebody bursting all over you, right? Because they haven't figured out how to deal with their pain. So okay, unhealed pain eventually speaks. Who it shows up in burnout. It shows up in anger, in isolation, anxiety, or emotional shutdown. Mm, just talking about those things, right? It also can show up in relationships, decision making, and your self worth. So, what isn't healed internally will eventually reveal itself externally. It has to release itself. It cannot be, a teapot cannot just stay on a hot flame and just burn, 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 and get hot, hot, hot and never explode. It can't. It has to release itself. Okay. All right, guys, let's pour a little more. So, healing requires more than time. Time alone does not heal what is ignored. Just because you let years go by doesn't mean that thing still isn't there. No, it's probably even more embedded. It's probably worse than it was when it first started, because you have let other things come into it. So now it's a mixture, it's a blend of not just that one initial thing, but so much more. So time, you heard the statement, time heals. Time doesn't always heal. No, you have to put an action to it. You have to do a work to go through a healing. Okay. So you can't just say time heals all pain, time heals all wounds. No, it doesn't. You have to address that thing and deal with it, as painful as it may be, in order for you to get released from it. All right. So healing requires honesty. That's a big one. You must own it. You must state exactly what it is. Be honest. And it's not about who am I going to hurt by being honest about this while you're dealing in pain and you've been just sitting in pain. It's about being honest in what it is you're dealing with, what your part in it was, what someone else has done to you, and it may not be someone or it could be something. It could be something you experienced. It could, whatever it is, just be honest about it. Healing requires rest, reflection, surrender, and sometimes support. I think that's so important, getting the support. We all have gone through something. We've all gone through something. So it's easy when we're not dealing with our something, but somebody else something is present. It's easy to say what isn't, or just to get rid of people and just don't have the grace to deal with whatever it is at that time. So we really need to analyze ourselves. We really need to do an inward journey. And because we all need grace, we all do. No man is perfect. No man has lived a perfect life, you know? No man has gotten to a place where they don't need any grace. We all need it. So if anything comes before you, or anyone comes before you, and they have gone through something, going through something, but a part of them is crying out because they need your support, don't be so quick to judge and throw them away. But really, this is where humanity steps in, the human side of us. And if we put ourselves in a situation, how will we want that to be? How will we want people to respond to us? Sometimes we got to do that. We got to put ourselves maybe in that person's place. Maybe not the actions of what they've done, their offenses or whatever it may be, but just put themselves in that place. If you're feeling like you're in a space isolated and all alone, and all you're doing is reaching out for support because you're in such a broken state and you just need someone to extend a hand to help lift you up, to give you the strength and the courage to know that you can move forward in life. Let's think about this thing before we decide that we're totally discarding someone and leaving them, because you know what? God sees all, and that thing can come back up again before you from Him. Remember when I needed you? I presented to you 3 different times and you closed the door. We don't know how God moves and how He's working within the lives of others. So, good morning, beautiful Nikki. Happy Monday. Yes, happy Monday. And so, I just want to say that before we become God in the lives of men, remember there was a time in our life we needed someone to give us an extended hand of support. We needed someone to see us as human. We needed someone to say, you know, you may be down, but this may not always be your story. You know, these are my offenses and this is what I've done, but I'm repenting and please, you don't know. So all I'm saying is, before dismissing people and where they are and not giving support, just become Christ in that moment. Because let me tell you, God has saved us from a lot of ourselves. God has given us the grace to even be sitting here today, even in our mess. Hello, Coach Kathleen over on Instagram. So I want you to just be mindful, if that ever comes before you, to remember, I'm not a judge and a jury. And what would God do? If nothing else, ask that question. What would God do? All right. Good morning, Diana Knox Cooper. Would you say you are preaching today? I don't know. Sometimes in life, you just come across different things in your pathway, that different experiences that you may go through, different encounters that you may deal with, people from family to friends to strangers. And at the end of the day, and I guess this is why it's so heavy on my heart today when I'm thinking about functioning but not healing, is, how do we show up in the world? How do we show up when it's not us that need that hand of support? How do we show up when it's somebody else coming across? Because we know when it's us, We want somebody to sympathize. We want somebody to embrace us. We want somebody to give us the courage and the strength to go on. But when it's somebody else, the thing is, we in our flesh have, we look at all the things that they've done. But you know what's so interesting? When we look at the word and we look at all the things, the ones that God chose in the Bible, they all had a past. They all had offenses, but he still found a way to use them. And so we just need to ask ourselves, what would God do? Because who am I to judge another man? But what would God do in this situation? So, all right, guys, let's keep moving forward because I do have. Okay, so let me just close out our pour into purpose, okay? God can restore what life tried to harden. God can restore. God can restore. Yeah. So, and we sometimes don't get what we need from a man. Amen. That's right, Nikki Russell. Woo, child. God can use anybody. That's right, Diana. God can use anybody he chooses to use to get a message through. But are we paying attention? That becomes the question. Are we paying attention? Something to think about, right? Okay. All right, guys. Well, you know what? Let me bring up our resident for our Monday Blacks in Fact. Let me bring Miss Teresa Merritt Watson up. Hello, Teresa. Oh, hold on. Let me unmute her. Let me unmute. Hello, Teresa. I just had to unmute you.
Oh, good morning. I certainly hope you enjoyed your vacation.
It was some challenges, but you know what I always say? Protect your peace at all costs. Protect your peace. So sometimes you may have to step out of places and spaces and be isolated on your own, just to not deal with stuff, right? So
That's
yes, I
true.
did enjoy myself. I did. I needed to be able to go decompress, clear my mind, as well as be prepared for this week and what's coming up. So I did. I had a good time. And I came back with a cold. I did. So, well, listen. So today's message is functioning but not healing. And so I want to get into our Blacks in Fact today and who we're going to be talking about. And if it's okay, can I go ahead and play our Blacks in Fact? And then me and you, we're going to get into it. Okay. We're going to talk a little bit
Sounds
about it.
good.
Okay, great. Hold on one second. And today's.
Today on Blacks In, we honor reggae legend Bob Marley, a global voice for peace, resistance, and Black empowerment. Bob Marley transformed music into a movement that challenged oppression and inspired millions of people across the world to stand together in unity. Through timeless songs like One Love, Redemption Song, and Get Up, Stand Up, he delivered messages of freedom, justice, and hope that still resonate today. From the streets of Jamaica to international stages, Marley showed the world that music could educate, uplift, and bring people together across cultures and generations. His legacy continues to remind people everywhere to fight for equality, embrace love, and never stay silent in the face of injustice. See you next time on Blacks In.
Now, let me tell you, Bob Marley falls right into alignment with today's message, functioning but not healing. He had a message through song that transcended through time, to be able to reach people. And because of his statement and being who he is, he ended up losing his life for it.
Yes.
So, but let's talk about it, Miss Teresa. I'm calling you doctor in advance because you work hard
I
for
hope
what
the
you
end of
about
the
to
month
get.
yields that.
Yes. No, we claiming it.
Yes. One of the things I always find intriguing about Bob Marley and a lot of musicians is that they were definitely advocate for the Black human rights. They wanted peace. And Rastafarian actually one of their religious principle is peace and justice. And so Bob Marley saw the injustice, not just you think Jamaica is predominantly Black, but you have colonization, you have ownership of the country. They didn't have the independence. And then when they did, they treated it like they treated Africa. They just robbed the minerals and robbed whatever they have. And so Bob Marley, he was really for the rights of the oppressed people. So I really see, and he definitely is anti-colonization. So when I look at Bob Marley, a lot of people look at the songs, but I look at the meaning of the songs and what it has in it. And so it sort of coincides today with your message, because we've been fighting a long time for justice, for peace. And he talked about it. Bob Marley was born in 1941, I think. And he was talking about the same thing that we're dealing with right now. And so it's telling you that we get to a place, we have peace, we think we have peace, we become complacent in certain things, the way our life is. We got a house, so we're okay. We got a car, so we're okay. But those things are very temporary, and he wanted more for us. So he's not the only person that talks about peace and injustice. And he had to leave this country. He died fighting for, singing about what he believed in. So yes, he's a very powerful man to me. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just want to tell you again, if I have not told you, thank you so much for making yourself available to just be a part, stopping by Morning Brew, to really share what God has laid on your heart to do with educating and getting the message out there, so we can see the power in who we are as a people and never lose sight of that. And that's what you've been able to do through Blacks In. I want to be able to put up on the screen so people can always stay connected with you as well. And you know what? I keep saying in the background, I showcase the Black Sing calendar that you and your team have taken the time to put together. And really, let me go to the month. Oh, I forgot to turn my ringer off. I'm sorry. But we're in the month of May. May is Ketanji Brown. Yes. Can y'all see that? Yes. So, but what you do along the side, you give a lot of tips about Blacks. And so all I do is take your daily Blacks in Fact, and I begin to share it and spread it abroad with everybody else. But I wanted to really thank you. Let me put this up on the screen. So if you have not purchased your calendar, please make sure you go and pick up your calendar. And it's not just that. Go into the website and also on your Instagram and your Facebook. Everyone can get their daily Blacks in Fact for the day. Just go follow. Go follow Blacks In on Facebook, on YouTube. Not YouTube, I'm sorry, Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. Let me put it over also in our, okay, hold on. Let me post it. Yes. Okay. Got it. So thank you. And for those that don't know, while I have you, for those that don't know, why are you so passionate about doing just this?
Oh, the question. I actually have enjoyed Black history for many years. I tell people frequently that I went to all Black elementary school. And one of the things I heard my teachers talking about, we can't use those books because they don't depict Africa. They depict Africa a certain way. And as a young kid, I became curious to how did they depict Africa. So we did actually have the physical book, and you saw them people running around with no clothes on, this savage type thing. And then when Miss Harrison actually brought in her own books about Africa and how they were such a proud people, and the richest person on the planet came from Africa. The science and math came from Africa. I was always intrigued. And when I first went to college, I was going to be a history major. I changed it to business major, but I was always intrigued. And then as I had kids, I see kids in school, and I'm like, what is this all about with the kids failing and everything? And people's standards, the standards that they have set forth. And so, yes, I became very curious to what was going on. And now I'm still curious, by the way, because it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I do understand it a little better. If I have a child, and I do have 6 grown kids, you know, um, and one of the things I will say to you is that I've told you before, we get our kids in kindergarten through 3rd grade, and they learn
Yes.
about Washington, Lincoln, and all those people, but you're not telling them that whiteness is greatness. You're actually showing them, which they internalize because, Martin Luther King is an afterthought, or Rosa Parks is an afterthought. And so here you are, your image that you've planted for our kids is that whiteness is greatness, and there's no person better than another person. That's what the seed should have been planted,
Yes.
and but it wasn't that way. And the more I got into that, and the more I had to tutor, or my kids had to tutor other kids that was less fortunate, or was struggling at home, and it became obvious to me that it was something that needed to be done. And even the way we handle suspending our kids, putting them in, creating these different tiers of education. And so
Mhm.
you got a tier that do not have to take the end of course test, but they have a high school diploma, but they can't read. Our kids are very smart. I'm telling you, I know this for a fact.
Absolutely. It ties right back into our message today. You know, we don't want to really take the time to help them heal. We just want them to function, stay
Right.
busy, you know, but we have to find the time, I'm telling you, to really begin to pour into others and just acknowledge for a moment, just just acknowledge, when we slow down, we can see that people are really going through something. And sometimes they just need you to acknowledge it, you know? Opposed to just being so busy and missing the signs. And you can look even within your own family, start there first. But I think it's so important the work that you're doing because, even with your books that Black Tag, I have a copy. I think I have a copy. Yeah, I do somewhere over here. Let me move this out the way. But hold on. I think it's important to be able to share because I know I'm taking longer than I say. Normally it's a 5-minute segment, but hey, you're here with me, right? But you put out Black Tech, right? This is another best-selling book that you put out. And I always said it was so genius how you took 14, it's 7 men, 7 women, right?
Yes.
But you took 14 of our inventors and you put it in this book. And what's interesting is it's not just for kids. That's the thing. It may target kids. And I always say, wow, that's really genius because you are teaching even adults. Because as I began to publish this book, I had learned so much about what I didn't know. And let's be honest, we don't know everything. So thank you for doing this and also being prepared to have, and this book is available on her website. When you go to her website, you'll be able to see it, but it's also available everywhere. Okay. And but there is such a passion when you know you are in alignment with what God has for you. There is such a passion about it. It's not about the dollar and how much money you can raise because your vision is so big and visions cost. They do. And so sometimes we just have to begin to pour into those that are helping to build us up. And just by you giving us the knowledge, the insight, and the wisdom on one, who we are as a people, what our accomplishments are, since a lot of times they're being stolen from us. You really help us to get to know. And it's just, I always say, bite sized learning. It's our responsibility to go dig a little deeper, but you're definitely sparking the conversations through your Black Zen.
Well, I
So thank
certainly hope so. I just found it quite fascinating that Bob Marley and a lot of other advocates um, were are still fighting the same things back in the 40s and 50s, and now we're converting back
you.
to the 40s and 50s, but we can't stand still. while they're making decisions, we have to keep moving, and that's one thing. And I'll talk to you about that later on. That we have to keep moving. And is coming right now, and money is acting funny, and all these other things. Programs are shut down for our kids, and some of the things are deliberately impacting the African American community and the children. So strategies to make sure our kids are successful during the summer is something that we're looking at as well. We have to make sure that we don't repeat this kind of cycle again where we are right now.
Well, before I let you go, is there something that you are working on right now? We are coming into the summer months that will rally our children, bring them together, give them the knowledge. What are some things that you're working on to really bring that attention and focus to our young people?
Well, because we don't know people's schedule, we have a program. I love this program. It's called Blacks in Summer Academy. And so we have four major topics. We have reading, and of course, we do 4 each week, and it's they move at their own pace. Sorry about the dog.
That's okay.
They move at their own pace, but we have reading, math, innovation, and the reason why we have the innovation there because a lot of times our kids, I know people are going to disagree, but our kids go to school to be educated, but more so what we've been doing to our children is indoctrination. And so when you do it that way, you lose the creativity of a child. And so you would not be able to be Garrett Morgan and create the traffic light because your creativity isn't there. And so we talk about different invention, we talk about music and things that they have around, they get exposed to, that they want to do and how to create it. So they're creating things for this project that, they may not have even thought about it was a possibility. And finally, we do reflection, and reflection gives an opportunity. And they have a little assignment that they can submit in at the end of the week. And you start the cycle for 7 weeks. It's free to our children, but I am getting sponsors and grants to be able to fund that. And I like to try all the time when things are for our kids, to find grants and funders for those programs.
Absolutely. Now, is it virtual? So
yes,
that's good. Okay.
it's
And how can they
online.
find out?
They can move at their pace. Like if you have a basketball camp and we set this at 12 o'clock, you won't be able to do it. But if you get off at basketball camp at 2 o'clock, you can do it later. So it's on your schedule, but it's intriguing enough for you to be able to stay focused on it and want to do something every day.
Oh, that's great. And they can find out more information on the link at blacksin.com.
Yes. And that actually will be posted on Monday.
Okay, great. So
and it
they
starts
just have
June 22nd to August the 10th.
Great. Let me just post the link itself to connect with you. I'm pressing too many buttons by accident. Let me just copy and paste the link in. Okay, I'm going to copy and paste the link over it's in the comments right now to connect with you for more information. Just continue to stay posted and it will be updated on the website. So thank you so much. I also want to say hi to Tosh V. Agruel -FLT. Thank you so much for joining from YouTube. First time seeing you pop up in the comments. So thank you so much. So Miss Teresa Merritt Watson, we will continue on throughout the week with our Blacks in Fact, and we'll see you back here on Monday.
Sounds great. Thank you so much. And thank you, audience, for listening to me. I really do appreciate it. I get excited talking about Black people. So,
yes, you do.
So
well, this is the good thing because they'll be able to tune in to your podcast because the Blacks in podcast is coming soon. So we'll just keep her here right now And hopefully she'll stay coming in on Morning Brew even after her podcast comes to life. Okay.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you
so
so much.
welcome. Talk to you soon. So, guys, thank you so much. But it is so important that we get some information, to help us move forward and to also share with your family members. Okay. So let's get ready to bring Morning Brew to a close. But before we do, I like to always give you some reflection questions. Yes, reflection questions you can take with you along your day. You don't have to answer them through the comments unless you want to, but it's something for you to think about. So let's think about this. Excuse me. Question number one. I'm sorry, let me clear my throat because, like I said, this cold really wants to take over, but I can't give it the victory. So, question number one. Am I truly healing or just functioning? That is good. Definitely something to think about. Am I truly healing or just functioning? This is something for you to really kind of think through so you can answer and get what you need from it, or even identify that you need healing, but you decided to just continue to work, 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 stay busy, and function right through it. But there's some things you need healing from. So, all right, question number two. What have I been avoiding because I don't want to slow down long enough to face it? What's in front of you right now that you keep running from? You won't slow down. You won't be still. You won't take a pause. What is that thing right now, today, that is causing you not to face it, but to run from it? I'm leaving that with you. That's on you. Okay. All right, guys. It's time to go into the final sip. Yes, we are bringing all of this to a close. Thank you so much for stopping by Morning Brew. Um, we have some exciting things before I get into the final sip, before we close out. Just want to let you know we do have some more interviews, more people stopping by in studio this week for Morning Brew. New books coming out into the market. Yes. Yes. So we have some new books coming out into the market, and we'll start sharing those on tomorrow, you know. And we have some new authors this month. Listen, this is our 1 year celebration month. Okay. I was supposed to put something together to really celebrate it. But you know what I decided? I just want to celebrate all month because 1 year, Morning Brew has been here 1 year, showing up every single day. Let me tell you guys, day one, when I decided to say, you know what? I've really made a commitment to being consistent. And I have to tell you, I'm so proud of myself for sticking in there and being consistent and showing up. It's just become a part of my daily life, to be able to, at that 10:30 hour, to be sitting here live with you. And I know there may be a few times it was a few minutes over, and there may be some times that I had to even repurpose, you know, one of the previous programs and stuff, whether I was out of office or couldn't do the program, but I still wanted to make sure that we showed up and we are consistent. And I'm so grateful to all of you. And I'm so thankful, you know, that God just placed it on my heart to just jump, take the leap, go, just go, right? Just do. And so, listen, it may not be for everybody, but it may be for somebody. And you know what? That's what we're focused on. But more so than ever, it's for me. Definitely. So, thank you all for being a part of Morning Brew's conversation. And however you decide to show up with what you're drinking, I appreciate you more than you will ever know. So, and let me know if you are somebody that's chiming in and you want to be a part of Morning Brew, just go to morningbrewwithgermaine.com, or you can go to morningbrewwithgermaine@gmail.com and just drop us a line and let us know that, hey, you would like to be a guest. You're a new author. You don't have to be a HOV publishing author, but you're an author. You just released a book and you want to talk about it. Come on, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the power of your story. All right. So, but I'm here. So let's get into our final sip. All right. The final sip. Healing is not weakness, it's courage. It takes strength to admit I'm tired, I'm hurting, I need God. It takes strength to admit that, not weakness, strength. And it's okay. And watch what happens when you begin to do just that. Admit, speak it out into existence. What you need, where your current state is right now. And watch how you begin to feel a little liberated, a little freer, a little lighter. Okay? Just making those requests known. So you don't have to perform your way through your pain forever. No, you don't have to perform your way through your pain at all. Seek out the help that you need. Okay? And if you're unsure, listen, all I know to do is, God, I need you. I'm in need, God. I'm in need. Listen, sometimes it's the simplest things to ask for. You just got to ask. Ask. So sip slow. Give yourself permission to heal. Give yourself permission to heal. Let God meet you beneath the surface. Okay? All right, and that's it for Morning Brew with Germaine today. I'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully, you'll stop back by tomorrow for our new Morning Brew topic. What will it be about? All right, and then just see what's going on. See the new book releases that's coming to market, and come meet some of our guests coming in studio. Okay, so have a great day, and whatever you do, if you're in need of help, it's strength, not weakness. Okay, and remember, if you're going through something, don't just function through. Get the help you need to heal and be whole. Have a great day. Be safe, whatever you do. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.